Her last phone call wasn't a cry for help, it was a warning, and now the only person who heard it me is the one they're trying to silence. In this town, the truth dies faster than people do. The night Emma Dawson died, Willow Glen felt quieter than usual, like the whole town was holding its breath. I was finishing a lukewarm cup of coffee in the station when dispatch called my name, Officer Leela Morgan. "We need you out on Old Sycamore Road. Someone found a car in the ditch. No movement inside." I grabbed my keys, name. Emma Dawson. My chest tightened. I knew Emma like everyone in Willow Glen did. Soft spoken, always borrowing books from the tiny town library, always apologizing for being in the way even when she wasn't. I flicked on my cruiser's lights and sped out toward the wooded outskirts of town. Moon was thin, barely lighting the narrow road. Willow Glen wasn't the kind of place where crimes happened, not really. A few bar fights, a few drunk trespassers, nothing that prepared me for what I saw that night. Her silver sedan sat tilted against the ditch, headlights flickering weakly. Driver's window was shattered inward, glass scattered across the passenger seat like glittering snow. Emma sat slumped over the steering wheel, blood pooling beneath her chin. My pulse spiked. I swung the door open, checked for a pulse, nothing. But that wasn't what chilled me. Her phone was still clutched in her right hand. The screen was cracked but readable. Her last outgoing call was at 11:14 p.m. to a number I knew by heart, my own, except I never got that call. A cold shiver slid down my spine. I backed away and forced myself to breathe. I knew I needed to secure the scene. Call backup, notify the coroner. But something else caught my attention before I could reach for the radio. A single sentence, written in shaking letters on the fogged-up inside of her windshield. "He knows." My breath hitched. He, who, and why call me? I stepped away from the car and scanned the road. The trees, the shadows, the woods were silent except for the faint rustle of leaves. There were no footprints, no tire tracks, no signs of struggle. It felt staged, purposeful. My radio crackled, making me jump. "Officer Morgan." "You there?" "Yeah," I said, forcing my voice steady. "Send Sheriff Cole." "And a full forensic team." As I waited, I kept staring at Emma's phone, still in her hand, still locked on the last number dialed. Why call me? Why didn't it come through? And who was he? Someone wanted me to see this. Someone wanted me involved, maybe even silenced, for the first time since joining the Willow Glen Police Department. I felt unsafe, and I had a sinking feeling Emma's last phone call wasn't just to the wrong person. It was a warning, meant for the right one. By morning, the town was buzzing. People whispered Emma's name with trembling lips, hugging their coats tighter. If murder were contagious, Sheriff Cole, a tall, calm man with tired blue eyes, called me into his office. "Leela," he began gently, "you knew Emma, right?" I nodded. "Not personally. Just town stuff. You were close enough that she tried to call you." I swallowed hard. "I never got the call." He rubbed his jaw. "We checked the logs. It went out." "Then why didn't it ring?" Sheriff Cole exhaled. "Maybe she dialed too late. Maybe her phone dropped. But both of us knew that wasn't it." He leaned forward. "You okay with leading this?" "Of course," even though my stomach twisted at the thought. "Good. Dig deep." Something's off about this. Something was definitely off. I started with the people who knew her best. 1. The librarian Mia Harper. The library was quiet, as usual. Emma's closest friend looked devastated. She said she was scared. Mia whispered, clutching a returned book to her chest. "Emma never gets scared." What was she scared of? Mia bit her lip. She didn't tell me, just that someone was following her. Someone, a man. Did she say who? Mia shook her head. "Did she ever mention me?" I asked. Her eyes flicked upward. "Yes." Something inside me tightened. "What did she say?" "That she trusted you, that if anything happened to her, you'd know what to do." I felt the weight settle on my shoulders. But Mia wasn't finished. She came in 3 days ago, said she found something at the old community center, something she shouldn't have seen. What kind of something? I don't know. She was nervous, said she'd explain later. Later never came. And the community center, it had been abandoned for years. That was my next stop. The building smelled like mold and dust. My flashlight cut through the dim corridors. Most rooms were barren, empty shelves. Broken furniture, but room 3B down the left wing was different. Inside, a single metal filing cabinet stood in the center of the room. The drawers were open, papers scattered across the floor. Someone had searched it. Recently, I picked up a handful of documents and flipped through them. Financial records, names, dates, signatures, all linked to a person I never expected. Deputy Mark Hollister, a man I'd worked with for 4 years. A man who smiled too easily. A man who never wore his wedding ring anymore. Half the documents showed thousands of dollars moving from town funds, straight into shell accounts, embezzlement. Emma must have found this. My chest tightened. I heard a sound behind me. Soft, slow footsteps. I whirled around. Leela. It was Deputy Hollister himself, standing in the doorway. I forced a smile. Mark, what are you doing here? He stepped inside, eyes scanning the scattered papers. I could ask you the same. His voice was casual, too casual. I'm chasing a lead. I said, Emma was here recently. Mark raised a brow. You sure? Why would she come to a dump like this? He didn't know she found the papers. Or maybe he did. You alone, he asked. Red flag. Every instinct screamed at me. Yeah, I lied. He smiled. Good. My pulse spiked. Then he walked forward. Too close, closing the distance between us. Want help with the case? He asked. I stepped back. No, thanks, I've got it. His eyes hardened for a fraction of a second. That's a shame. When he left, I locked the door behind him and exhaled shakily. Someone else had been there before me. Someone who knew Emma was looking. Someone who erased her. But why send her to me? Why call me? Unless Deputy Hollister wanted to frame me next. I pocketed 3 incriminating documents and left. But as I exited the community center, a message pinged on my phone. Unknown number. Stop digging, Layla. You're next. My blood turned cold. Someone was watching me, and they knew everything. I barely slept that night. Every sound outside felt like footsteps. Every creak in my house felt like a warning. By morning, I decided to confront Sheriff Cole with the documents. I grabbed my keys, stepped outside, and froze. Someone had carved words into my front door. We know what you took. I swallowed fear and drove straight to the station. But when I walked inside, the atmosphere shifted. Deputies fell silent. Whispers followed me. Eyes lingered too long. Something was wrong. Sheriff Cole met me in his office. Layla, he said, tone tense, we need to talk. I found evidence. I blurted, Mark, Deputy Hollister, he's been stealing money from the town. Emma found out, but Sheriff Cole didn't react. Not the way I expected. Instead, he sighed heavily. We already know. The room seemed to tilt. What? We've been investigating him for months. He said quietly, Emma found the same documents. She brought them to me. My stomach twisted into knots. Then why? Because, Sheriff Cole interrupted, Emma thought someone else was involved. Someone higher, someone with more power, someone she feared. I leaned forward. Who? Sheriff Cole's face darkened. She believed I was involved. For a moment I felt nothing, then everything. The room shrank, my pulse pounded, my throat went dry. Are you? I whispered. He didn't answer with words. He reached into his drawer, pulled out a handgun, and aimed it at me. My heart stopped. Sheriff, I whispered, stepping back. You weren't supposed to find the papers. He said softly, Emma gave them to me. I was supposed to destroy them. I shook my head slowly. You killed her. He lowered his gaze. I didn't want to. She panicked. Said she'd tell me. Said she'd tell you. I couldn't risk it. My breath grew shallow. Why call me? He smirked. She didn't. I did. Cold horror spilled through me. You sent the call to yourself. He continued, forwarded from her phone, made it look like she tried to reach you. I needed you tied to it. Why me? Because this town loves you. He spat. Too much. You ask questions. You see things you shouldn't. I reached subtly for my belt, my holster. Empty. He smirked again. Your gun's in evidence. I had it moved. I swallowed panic. What now? Now? He tilted his head. Now it ends the same way Emma ended. He stepped closer, but footsteps thundered down the hall. Sheriff Cole spun too late. Mia Hopper burst into the doorway, gun shaking in her hands. "Drop it," she screamed, voice cracking. "Drop it now." Sheriff Cole hesitated, just 1 second, but 1 second was enough. I lunged forward, tackling him to the ground. His gun slid across the floor. Deputies rushed in, cuffing him as he struggled and shouted. It was over. Hours later, after statements, after tears, after relief finally loosened its grip on my chest, I stood in the parking lot breathing cool night air. Mia approached me quietly. "You okay?" she asked. Eventually, I said, "You know." Mia whispered, "Emma trusted you. That's why she tried to call you." I smiled sadly. She was brave, too brave. Mia looked at the stars. "Do you think Willow Glen will ever feel safe again?" I considered the question, then shook my head. Not completely, but safer than it was yesterday. She nodded, wiped her eyes, and walked away. I stood alone under the dark sky, remembering Emma's final words on her windshield. "He knows." She was right. He knew too much, but now everyone knew the truth, and real justice, finally had its place in Willow Glen. Please like and subscribe. Thanks for watching.